This is Toon Talk Weekly, episode 213. This week, Brad and I head back to the 60s when we watch an episode of the series The Archie Show.
Hello, Mr. Andrews.
Hello, Reggie. No, Mary, that's the first time I've seen that boy without his hair pasted down with greasy kid stuff.
It's a swell costume, Reggie, but...
Well?
We were just considering going as a group. Yeah, and share first prize if we win.
Are you with us, Reg? Are you kidding? Most certainly not. With this costume, I'm sure to win, and I'm not sharing first prize with anyone. Good night, Mr. Andrews.
Good night, Reggie. He's pasted his hair down again.
The day just keeps getting better.
Boy.
Hey, how you doing?
Once again, that means... Hey everybody, it's Tuesday once again. That means it's time for another episode of the weekly cartoon podcast, Toon Talk Weekly. That is, of course, this show. Wanted to thank you once again for joining us this week to chat some cartoons. I'm Jake Williams, but I'm not the only voice you're going to hear this week. As with every week, brought along Brad Chmielewski. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? And I'm back on camera this week.
Yeah, last week we just had a nice still for you. Maybe a little Easter egg in there based on what you were talking about, if anybody caught the video version over on YouTube. But it was awesome that, I hated to dip into your vacation a little bit, but it was awesome that you had a moment to just chat about Mike, Lou, and Og last week.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep. I should have just put beach noises under your stuff like every time you were talking. I think that would have made it awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't pick up more.
Yeah, no, it came out great. So this week's show, guys, we're going to be talking about an episode of the cartoon The Archie Show. Archie, of course, famous as a comic book character. I believe that's what his origins were. My experience with Archie is that the Sonic the Hedgehog comics were produced by Archie Comics. That's as far as I got with Archie.
Yeah, I never watched any Archie. I read like the Sunday.
Oh yeah. Yep, he was definitely, I think he had the Sunday morning like comic strip basically. Also, I always feel like it was just like Jughead was way more popular. Archie was just the dude whose name happened to be on there.
Really? I don't know.
Maybe
I
not.
guess I don't know enough about them to say who was. I just assumed Archie was the most popular.
Maybe not, like, maybe popular is the wrong word to use here. It's not necessarily that I thought he was the most popular, but like the most recognizable, because Archie's just kind of a dude, but Jughead's got a cool hat, and that's how you know the difference between a cool dude and a real character.
Well, he's also his name's Jughead. Like, that's a ridiculous name.
Yeah,
like, Archie as a name it's kind of lame.
Yeah. Basically any of these characters aside, well, maybe even Jughead could have been characters on Happy Days for all we know. That's probably where they fit the best. They have the perfect names for it. And so the Archie Show was a show. I didn't realize it was ever a show. So we discovered this, and we'll chat a little bit about it. Some background on the Archie Show is it was created by John Goldwater, who created the comic, and Bob Montana created the character designs. 1 season total, 17 total episodes. I believe that encompasses 2 parts per episode. An American animated musical comedy series. They did include music in it. It's pretty prevalent, both with the intro song, which introduces you to all the characters, as well as the way the format played out. There was always a song in every episode, too.
Okay.
It was produced by Filmation for CBS, which we talked quite a bit about Filmation. We had a string a few years ago of like watching lots of Filmation shows, and I always go back to Gilligan. It's the one that I always remember.
Yeah, we ragged on it a little bit, and now I think it's just kind of like this is the thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not necessarily good or bad at this point. Now that we've seen so much of it, it's just kind of like, yep, they made cartoons.
Yeah, it's got a style, and I believe the moniker, the thing we kept bringing up with them is that it was always like quantity over quality. Like they just got stuff out. But you're right, it has like its own feel now, and I think in a weird way that's like a nostalgia thing. and the style kind of works, I guess. And it was based on the Archie comic books created by Bob Montana. Of course, those were from 1941, so this character's been around for a very long time. The original release of the series was September 1968 until August 1969, and then, of course, as most things do, they run in syndication for a while after that. And so, some bits on the production of the Archie Show. The Archie Show is actually designed to emulate the live-action series The Monkees, which was very popular. And what they wanted to emulate with was having rock music in each episode, of course. If you're listening to this in 2017, your definition of rock music is obviously very different than what the 60s had. It was also, I guess, it utilized the laugh track, which is very apparent when you're watching the show.
That was weird. When it first kicked in, I was like, I guess this cartoon has a laugh track. Okay.
It's been a while, I think, since we've done a show or done a cartoon on this show that actually had a laugh track, so it kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
Wait, are there other cartoons with laugh tracks?
Oh yeah, some of the earliest series, the Flintstones and the Jetsons both have laugh tracks, so those.
Okay.
Maybe it's just stuck out more here for some reason. I'm not sure why, or maybe it was like way overdone.
Maybe okay.
And actually, the laugh track in the Archie Show, according to its Wikipedia article, is the first example of a laugh track in a Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the Flintstones, Jetsons, I believe, were older, so that they used it first. But once they started sort of categorizing cartoons that aired on Saturday morning as quote Saturday morning cartoons, Archie Show was the first one to do that. And then, because of this success of the Archie Show, most animated series would begin using laugh tracks until the early 80s. So if you were watching cartoons then, you got your fair share of laugh tracks.
Jeez, I must I think I just tune them out very quickly. It's like, oh, that sucks, and then I just forget about it.
Yeah. And the typical format of an episode of the Archie Show was that it would feature an Archie story, so one episode, and then it would feature a Dance of the Week teaser saying, hey, kids, coming up next is this week's dance, so stay tuned. Then they'd come back from commercial break. You would get a song performed by the Archie, as well as introducing you to the dance and what the dance was for you to do to follow along with the cartoon characters. And then the second Archie story. That was kind of like the stories almost bookended the dance, basically.
Okay. And so if this was to emulate the show The Monkees, we also had many other shows like this. The Josie and the Pussycats,
Even Gem and the Holograms to an extent.
Gem and the Holograms. What's the one with the shark? Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw, yeah.
They're all the same, but Archie and his crew, it's not all about the music. They have these music segments.
Yeah.
But the episodes we watch, they don't play music. They're not like a band. But all those other ones have we're the band. And we're doing stuff. We're going to a gig and we're having trouble.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's not that the show's characters are known as a band and they happen to be going on adventures.
Yeah.
This is the kids happen to be in a band. It's not a focal point.
It's weird that they have this music segment that's just you're accept hey, they're in a band. How come they never talk about their band? In the show. Yeah. Maybe they do, but we just didn't see it in this episode.
Yeah, did you notice that even in this episode, one of the episodes we watched, the first one, I believe, the entire house was shaking in the scene, and I thought, oh, it's probably because they're a band and they're playing music. No, they were trying on costumes. They were avoiding saying that they were in a band, period, so that they didn't draw comparisons or something.
I guess, yeah.
And also, I didn't write down the artists who were known for doing the songs. I believe this was the case of one of these shows where, the characters during the show had a voice actor. However, when it came to the music, it was like a musician, an actual artist, a vocalist. Actually, I had to look this up. I noticed that the song Sugar Sugar is the title of the song, stood at the top of the pop charts for 4 weeks in 1969 and was one of the top songs on Billboard that year. And I had to look it up and I was like, wait a second. The Archie Show, the band Archie, had one of the most popular songs in the 60s. And I looked it up. I've heard this song. It's a classic song just about anybody's heard. So I encourage you to go look up Sugar Sugar. Also, add add Archie Show to it as well, and you'll get the official music video. Kind of interesting. I feel like there was some other show we did. We've done a lot of these episodes, so I'm not thinking of it offhand, but I feel like we did another show, and maybe it was Josie and the Pussycats or something, that also had a song in the cartoon that made it popular or made it onto the Billboard charts. So it's kind of interesting to see that crossover. But for a show to me, like the Archie Show, that kind of is under the radar in a weird way, to hear that it hit the Billboard charts is kind of hilarious. And I guess
weird.
The story of the show, what can you expect from the Archie Show? What kind of the stories are they telling? The show revolves around 17-year-old Archie Andrews and his teenage pals from Riverdale High School. On the show, the Friends appeared as a bubblegum pop band featuring Archie on lead guitar. That's it. Basically, they're just kids in high school. That's all. That's really what the show is. We, of course, have Archie, who's the protagonist, the main character. I would say in the episodes we're going to chat about today, kind of overshadowed. He really wasn't the focal point that much.
No.
We have Betty, who's the attractive blonde sort of girl next door type of girl. Veronica is the spoiled rich brunette. So those are the stereotypes being played out there. Reggie is the like wisecracker, like the smartass of the group, basically. He pulls all the pranks and kind of wants to do that stuff. And we're going to talk quite a bit about him today. And then we got Jughead, who's kind of the dimwit, but also Archie's best friend. And he's kind of always around to hang out with the gang, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then can't forget about their dog.
Oh, yeah. Who I believe is named Hot Dog.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Can't ask for a better name. So this week, we watched an episode. We're going to chat about a couple episodes because the plots kind of go together in a weird way, like the structure of the episode. But I have it down here as season 1, episode 7 of the Archie Show. However, if you go to the Wikipedia or any list, I believe that we watched an episode. I don't know if these two stories went together on the actual, like when they actually aired or not. But the episodes in question are Flying Saucers and Field Trip. Every episode begins with a nice song of the Archie Show, kind of introducing the kids and who they actually are, basically, to the audience. This episode starts with what I mentioned earlier, which was a wide shot of the house, which I believe is Archie's home. And his parents are complaining about what the kids are doing upstairs. The actual house itself is bouncing and like morphing and stuff upstairs, or the entire house is.
Because they're putting on costumes.
Yeah, I thought it was like the typical thing, like Bill and Ted's or something would be like, no, they're playing music. Nope, they're trying on costumes. For this upcoming, and they didn't say if it was like Halloween or not, but I kind of implied that on my own watch, that they were going to this costume contest at the high school and they were trying to win first prize.
I didn't get that it was a. I didn't get that it was a.
That it was Halloween.
The Halloween at all, because I felt like that would have been like maybe obvious for what was about to happen.
Because there wasn't a single jack-o'-lantern anywhere.
Yeah.
Basically. What we do get is that it's the 4 members, excluding Reggie, of the Friends who are actually trying on the costumes. Reggie comes into the house wearing this gorilla suit that he bought, and he's like, I can't wait to show these guys that I'm going to win. Like, he's not even a team player from the get-go. He can't even help himself. Like, they want to do a group costume. He decides, I'm actually going to do this instead.
Yeah, he just seems like a dick.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme, I think, of these couple of episodes here. So when he does show them their costume, and the friends are like, well, guys, we were going to do a group costume together. Reggie doesn't care. He's like, no, I'm not going to let anyone beat me. I'm going to win. Even though he's probably got a way better shot being with his friends.
I would think so, yeah.
And then we find out why the episode is titled Flying Saucers. The Friends have decided to pretend that they're aliens, basically, and they all have these cool, like, astronaut helmets. They've even built this, like, go-kart / car type of UFO-looking thing.
That car was pretty sweet. That was like, the best part of their costume.
Can we also talk about how at the beginning of the episode, they had nothing. By, like, the 3rd or 4th cut, they had full costumes and a car built.
Uh-huh.
Like, what is the time that actually occurred here that actually made this work? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But you know what's going to happen. First off, you've already seen this gorilla thing, and you're like, oh, man, someone's going to mistake him for, like, a real gorilla. Mm-hmm. And now you got they're aliens, and you're like, I just know what's going to happen. I've seen this play out how many times in shows and cartoons?
Yeah. And this probably happened before all of those other times, but having watched so many shows at this point, it's kind of where we're at. So the gang sort of gets together and starts driving towards the school. Reggie takes it upon himself to call the police on his best friends and say, hey, there's a UFO driving towards the school. Driving, of course. Stop them because aliens. I don't know.
A siren. I'd better pull over.
Stop it
that service station, Arch. I want to wash my hands.
Yeah, I can use some air in my tires, too.
Hurry, boys. We don't want to be late.
Now, this is car 4 proceeding north on Apple. Just spotted UFO moving east on a banana. Watch it, Charlie! Yes, car 4, what happened? We just went into a slippery spin. On banana? That figures. No fooling. They must have used some kind of spin ray on us. Who knows what kind of weapons they have? Come on, Charlie, let's take cover.
And this is at a time where, first off, you could call the cops, and they're not going to be like, shut up, kid. Like,
Yeah.
they're actually going to believe you. Because if you called the cops now and be like, there's a UFO driving down the street, they like, no, but we'll come to your house and, fine you for calling 911.
Yeah, first of all, you got to get past dispatch. But in this episode, they get straight to an officer.
Yeah.
Basically straight. It's as if you could call straight to their car. Is what it felt like. So of course the police, with little else to do apparently in this town, go and actually check out the situation and see what's going on. Weren't the cops just generally just sort of terrified? Like they thought they were real?
Yeah, they didn't even question this idea. They're just like, oh my god, this is so scary. This is the worst thing ever to happen to our town.
Yeah, even though the gang was just refilling a tire at a gas station that got popped, and it was kind of strange. The short end of what happens here, aside from the news bulletin that happened and alerted Archie's parents that there's UFOs towards the school, and the parents I loved were the dad was oh, poor kids.
Our children.
There's aliens. No way. They're only going to the high school. So the moral, or what happens sort of at the end here, is that they do win. I mean, they showed no other costumes aside from these two. So you would assume Archie and his gang won the sweet costume. In large part, it's got to be, like you said, due to that little car that they built.
Yeah.
But they didn't really explain this. We just got a cut at the end here. But clearly Reggie got put into the zoo because they thought he was a gorilla.
Well, at the end, when Archie's winning, he's like, yeah, and, Jughead admitted that he was the one that called the police.
Oh, yeah.
On it. And it was like they skipped the whole meaning or point of the episode where it's like, hey, the issue's cleared up. We won. It's over. Everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
And rather than animating it, it's like, let's just say it.
Let's just show him at the zoo already. It's fun. Yeah, kind of a weird ending to that episode. So that ends the first half of the episode. Then what happens is we get the teaser for a song I believe was called the Stick Shift or the Shifter or something like that. They kind of give you a dance where Archie, the character, is actually doing the dance. And so you as a kid at home, I could imagine a kid jumping back and forth to the music. Then they play you a song to do the dance to, basically. And then after this, we get the second part of the story, which is the kids going. The episode is entitled Field Trip. The kids go on a field trip for the day with some classmates. However, we only see them on the bus. I feel like we never see any other classmates the entire trip. The trip is essentially just out to nature. It's kind of out in the woods or a national park or something.
It's like a walking tour kind of thing.
We do get two other characters. One who I took as their teacher was the woman. And then I don't know who the older man was, either another teacher or the principal or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he might have been the principal.
Yeah. Right, to further give evidence towards this Reggie is a dick theory, right when they show up, first of all, Hot Dog smuggled himself on. He was in the bottom of the bus where all the bags were.
Yeah, hold on. Can we talk that Hot Dog can talk to us?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I completely forgot about that.
He just says side remarks this is crazy stuff here today or something. I'm just
literally, he goes along with everything and then he turns to you and he's like, oh man, I should have just stayed home. This is ridiculous.
It's shut up, dog. Yeah. Worst.
Applies nothing else to the plot other than to show the dog full screen for a minute. I don't know. That's really what I got out of it. But after Hot Dog, the talking dog, I completely forgot about, gets off of the bus, Reggie basically says, come on, dog, I'm going to go ruin this field trip for everybody, more or less.
Yeah, but he's like, I see you snuck on here. I'm not going to tell anyone, but come along with me.
Yeah.
At last, the great outdoors.
Well, a stowaway, eh?
Oh, caught in the act.
Don't worry, hot dog. I'll keep your little secret. And since you caught me lagging behind, I'll let you in on my secret. I'm gonna create some really unusual phenomenons of nature.
Something tells me I should have stayed in the bus.
When I finish with this gay little outing, everyone will think they've made the best find of the day.
I don't understand. This guy is supposed to be like, when I think of the 5 of them, I think of them as like best friends, but instead what we get is like one is a complete jerk. His parents are making him hang out with them. I don't even know what I'm getting in for here.
Yeah, Jughead's so mean to them. It's like, just get rid of this friend. Like, he's basically your nemesis.
But then what we do get is like, he starts just pulling pranks on everybody on the field trip. So the first prank I didn't quite understand, but he put like a box with a sign that said like, these are real tsetse flies. And then Jughead gets in a fight with one of the girls because they're actually gnats or something. Like, that's haha, I guess. Sure.
Yeah.
What
was the second prank?
It was something with like a brick and a bag or something like that. And what ended up happening was the principal guy was looking for ants in a bush, and he tells him to go over to this woman, or towards where the teacher is holding this bag. And he says like, oh, there's the old bag, and like gets beat up by the teacher because he called her an old bag, even though he was talking about the brick.
And then at some point, he pushes someone in the water.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, there's a goat on the loose.
Yeah. Starts making goat noises to make people think they're going to get pushed in the water. At one point, he even starts making bear noises, thinking that he's scaring people from the other sides of bushes. But this is where an actual bear comes into it. But the bear looks basically like the costume of the gorilla from the first episode. Like, that's the vibe I got here. It's not until later, I think, that the teacher actually ends up like spanking the bear, which was kind of a ridiculous ending here to make him stop attacking him.
That was kind of weird.
Oh, it's because she thought it was Reggie, but turns out it was actually a real bear, sort of thing. And then, of course, the bear grabs Reggie and ends up spanking him, kind of like for all the crap he's caused everybody. But man, was he a complete jerk this entire episode.
The bear?
No, the Reggie. Yeah, no, the bear was fine. The thing I hated about this episode was that, like, Reggie was a complete jerk the entire way through. The first one, he was kind of like, okay, I got something else I want to do. I'm going to win the costume contest. So I got a motivation to, like, be mean to my friends. Sure, whatever. Here he's just like, I don't really care about nature. Screw you guys. I'm going to push you in the river. I'm going to, like, yeah. It was just kind of weird. Not one of my favorites. So this was season 1, episode 7 of the Archie Show. A couple of episodes here, guys. Flying Saucers and Field Trip. Brad, what were your thoughts about this show? Because I think this is the first time both of us are watching this.
It was all right.
Yeah.
That's really all I can say about like. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it. It wasn't really bad. It just like felt low quality. Like that. Like we said, the ending where they just didn't wrap it up. They just kind of like, hey, problem solved. Haha, guys. That's the end. Let's get back to dancing.
Yeah, I could see why this was a Saturday morning show. Like, you kind of get in, get out. You get like a little adventure with a group of people that maybe you consider like kind of cool friends or something.
Yeah.
But something about it was just like, I felt like we just watched one kid be a dick to his 4 friends. Like, I didn't get to learn anything more about Archie and his like noble pursuits in school and how like a nice guy he is, or like Jughead's drumming skills, or like something I would rather watch. Instead, I just watched the kid be a jerk to other kids. Oh, also, we often like to look at this with the lens of modern day and, you know, go back to this 1960s show. There was a line at some point in here, maybe I'll throw that in for a clip on this episode, where Reggie was walking around like talking about messing up everybody's time on the field trip, and he's like, I'm gonna ruin this gay old day. Yeah. And it was just, it caught me totally off guard because we use the word completely differently these days. But it kind of, I don't know, of course they aged it a bit, but it's just kind of interesting to see the language that was used.
But it was a correct usage of the word.
Yep.
So
No, it was perfect.
yeah, that was weird. Also, the fact that when he is being a jerk to them, there's no like, hey, this is wrong. I guess he did get locked up in the zoo, but it's just like, hey, yeah, our friend admitted to it.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, he got locked in the zoo and spanked by a bear, so I guess technically he got what was coming to him, but it just, it didn't, maybe drawing the animation for like getting scolded by a teacher like your parent isn't that interesting. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
So.
How old are these kids supposed to be? Is it high school?
Well, it says Archie is 17, so I would guess they're all seniors or juniors or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fine. I had read a couple of Archie comics back in the day, but I can't remember anything about them. I definitely didn't remember that they were in a band. That's for sure. I just knew that they were a group of kids that hung out, basically. So if you want to blast from the past, I think the Archie Show might be the show for you, but I think it's not high on our list of our favorite cartoons of all time. It's a thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a quintessential. It's up there with other Saturday morning cartoons. So let's get out of here. No more Archie Show. No more Reggie being a jerk. I can't stand it anymore. We're going to put him to bed. Brad, where can people find out more about you when you're not recording Toon Talk Weekly?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's @brad, and then my blog is digitalhitchhiker.com.
Great. Guys, go check them out over there. You can follow me on Twitter @Jacob Williams, and of course the show. If you want more Toon Talk Weekly, we're @Toon Talk Weekly on Twitter, facebook.com/Toon Talk Weekly. We're over on Google+. It's Toon Talk Weekly as well. And our email, toontalkweekly@gmail.com, is the place to send us any messages you have, any past shows you've listened to. I actually got a really, really cool email that I hope to have more information for you guys in an upcoming episode. Recently to the Toon Talk email, talking about a few episodes of some shows that we had some fun with, and now I look forward to learning more about them. So toontalkweekly@gmail.com is the place to find us if you want to let us know what you think of the show, or if you have any background on stuff, or if you work on shows and you want to get a hold of us. So we'd love to hear from you. And finally, toontalkweekly.com, the main hub for the show. If you want to learn more about any of our episodes, all of them are over there alphabetically for you guys on the homepage. Should be easy to find. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. We went older. We've been going pretty modern recently. And of course, once again, I'm doing it this week. We're going to do a show that literally just came out. I think there's only 8 episodes out at the moment. And we've been kind of keeping a close eye on this. The show is on Cartoon Network. It's called OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. Have you watched any of this yet, Brad?
I've only seen the intro when it was, I think, announced last year at Comic-Con.
Yeah. I completely forgot it was out, and then I went on vacation for a few days, so I had some time to kill at night, and I started binging it as quickly as I could. It's a lot of fun, so we'll pick an episode and we'll watch it, but it's a good series. I think it's going to be your next like Clarence or Steven Universe or something.
Well, okay.
I don't think it's going to top them. I think Steven Universe has a special place for you. But OKKO, Let's Be Heroes will be the show next week. But that's going to do it for this week's episode, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with another cartoon.
Take care.
To learn more about the show, visit toontalkweekly.com or follow us on Twitter @ToonTalkWeekly.